Hi, I'm Stephanie,
And I'm Justy.
and together we're losing it. We've each lost over 100 pounds with the help of diet, exercise, and breaking bad habits. And I also had weight loss surgery in 2020.
And I recently had skin removal surgery.
We're just sharing our journey and what we've learned throughout the process.
And we're not doctors, so if you have any medical questions, reach out to your doctor.
Welcome back, friends. We are here for another episode with Justy, myself, and Mr. Sancho making his cameo appearance. And today we want to talk to you about motivation. I feel like that's a word that's been like thrown around the community all through January because people can't find the motivation to get their, goals and resolutions and whatnot started in January. And January's tough. I will say that I feel like a bear in hibernation sometimes. I've laughed at a few memes and things I've seen circulating about stuff like that because it's cold and I don't want to leave. And I kind of want to just like, be in the house and like cook home cooked meals and just snuggled up in blankets and movies. And there's no motivation underneath the blanket or snacking away in the kitchen. You're not going to find it there. But it does, when it's cold like this. Justy and I have talked before that we struggle the most this time of year because we just don't want to be out there. If I'm going out there, it's because I'm going and it's cold. I'm going sledding. I'm going snow tubing. I'm going on a snow hike. Like I'm intentionally putting myself into that. I don't want to just leave to go like for a jog in that. I don't want to. So I want to kick this off with a very true, very timely motivation story for you. So I took the day off today because I'm going to Girl Scout camp with my stepdaughter this weekend, and I have a lot to do, and I just had appointment and some other stuff that I had to knock out. So this morning, I woke up around 6:20. That's when my husband was leaving for work, and him getting ready and whatnot had woke me up. Usually I fall right back asleep, but this time I did not, and I laid there for 2 hours contemplating whether I should get up and go for the run that I told myself I would go for because it's Friday and Friday for me is run day because that's the plan that I have. Well, I finally pried myself out of bed, stopped scrolling through Instagram, Facebook, email, checking how many Girl Scout cookies we've sold, all the things I could do to avoid going out for this run. Got up, looked out the window, it's raining. Looked at the weather app, it's 40 degrees. And I was like, oh, I'm not going out to run in that. Now, I have a gym membership. So not going out to run in that is perfectly fine. You can still go run. And I was like, yeah, maybe I'll just do like a home workout. I'm not doing a home workout. I know I'm not. That was my initial like way to get myself out of going to the gym to run because I just didn't want to go. And I'm like, yeah, I'll just do that. I'll record with Justy. I'll get my breakfast. I'll do this. I know that the gym home, workout's not happening. So I had to talk myself into it. Like, no, you committed to running. Just like every Monday through Friday, I commit myself to going to work because it's my job. I committed myself to running. Like, why is it so easy for you to just cancel your own commitment, but not your commitment to other people? So I kind of had that whole conversation with myself. Then, as I started getting myself ready, it's like, I forgot to put my contacts in. I had to run back upstairs. I forgot to put deodorant on. Nobody in the gym wants that, so I run back upstairs. Started walking out the door, forgot to get my Gatorade, run back upstairs. Like I've doubled everything I did this morning simply because I just didn't want to do something. I got in the car and I drove there and I got to the gym. I scanned my thingy. I checked in. I left my damn Gatorade in the car, and I was like, okay. I was like, I don't even need it. I'll drink it when I get done. And I got to the treadmill. I went in the movie room because I thought maybe that would help me to like watch a part of a movie. I was like, I'm doing 30 minutes. I don't care what my pace is. I'm just committing. I've never set a time or really a pace or anything when I do it, but today is run day. And I went and I did it and I did not like it. And I got in the car and the only thing that felt good about it, and this is the feeling, was that I stuck to my commitment. Everything else was just like I did not want to do any of that. But I did it and it felt good because I stuck to it. I don't feel physically good. I felt good mentally because I stuck to a goal that I committed to myself. So by 10 o'clock, I was done with my workout. I was home for the day and ready to get going. And it was done. It didn't hurt me. So that's like my I didn't have motivation for it. So Justy, with that being said, in my little story, you've done your own little research like a good girl, and you've looked up some definitions of motivation. So I'm gonna turn it over to you and let you talk about motivation and the definition.
Yeah. And something popped in my head I wanted to say first. I've had mornings like that where I've gotten up and I've wasted 2 hours of my morning talking myself into going to the gym. And at the end of my gym, the one thing, like you said, the one thing you were proud of is that you did it. You kept your commitment to yourself. And I feel the same way, but I also feel like I wish I had that 2 hours back.
Yeah.
And so the next time, and so that's what I do when I feel like I didn't do something to the best or the best of my ability, then I always evaluate, okay, what could I do better next time? So next time I'm sitting in bed, instead of 2 hours go by, now I set a time for myself. Okay, I'm gonna give myself 5 more minutes and that is it. Like,
Mhm.
because I don't want to regret that, not having that 2 hours back of my
Right.
day. I'm going to go anyway. I did it anyway. I could have just done it and probably gotten a lot more done in the morning. So,
And real
um,
quick, before you go on, I thought the same thing because I'm like, well, you pushed Justy back an hour in the time that we were going to record because of the 2 hours that you took. So you pushed her back an hour. Now you're thinking about how much time you have left to finish the stuff that you have to do for the day before you have to leave to go pick Chelsea up from school. And if I would have just gotten up when I was
yeah,
awake the first time, I would probably have like extra time to, I don't know, sit and I don't know, stare out the window at birds if I wanted to, but I didn't. I pushed it to the
right.
max.
Uh-huh. And I think you and I both, we are self-proclaimed procrastinators. So that's just a battle that I feel like it's just in me. It's who I am. My dad was the same way, and he was always fixing to do something. Um, but I just now it's kind of like, okay, I totally could have gotten that 2 hours back. So next time I'm gonna just when I wake up, I give myself a half hour now. It's like a half hour. I'm either gonna go, no go at a half hour, and then I'm gonna make the decision and move on with my life. So it's interesting. But yeah, so we were talking about motivation, and one of the things I think, and I did it. I don't think like this much anymore, but is that we think like motivation is being this feeling. So, when I looked up the definition of motivation, it said a reason one has for acting or behaving in a particular way. And so motivation is a reason. So for doing something, but it's not a feeling at all.
Mhm.
And I mean, I wish every morning Dolly Parton would come down and sing Life is Like a Butterfly to me to get me motivated, but that's not going to happen, right? And you probably don't know what that song is, but
Sounds
um,
lovely.
so it's kind of like we got to stop telling ourselves that motivation is a feeling. It does not, in the definition, it says does not say happy or excited or fun or any of that stuff. It's an action. So am I going to take this
Oh, did it
action?
tell you? Did it say like action,
Yeah.
motivation? It did say action. Yeah. I mean, and there you have it. It's an action.
Yeah.
There's no take the feeling out of it. There is no feeling. It's
Right.
not like I need to be happy to do this or I need to be like loved or I need to be, no, you need to have a reason, like Justy said, a reason to take
Mhm.
the action of motivation.
Right. And so we've talked a lot about your why, your reason, that sort of thing. And so the things that I've done, because people tell me all the time, like, oh my God, you're so motivated. Miss Linda tells me that all the time too. You get so much done, blah, blah, blah. In my mind, I think I'm not, but other people see me and they think that I am. But what I do on purpose is I think about like what I purposely think about in this moment, what am I going to do? So when I have a moment of lack of acting on a reason, and I kind of, instead of beating myself up, I plan for the next time. So if I don't want to go, if I didn't go to the gym today, or I don't want to go to the gym today, or whatever, for whatever reason, the next time I'm feeling that way, I already have two or three reasons why I'm just going to do it. And that's built over years. It just doesn't happen overnight. But now it's kind of like, well, my reasons why I go to the gym every morning now, and I've been going at night a little bit too, which I don't think it's working out for me, but I'm going to give a little more time. I can talk about that later. But so the reason why now is for the rest of the day, I'm going to feel good. I'm going to have energy. Like that's why I like going to the gym in the morning. And you know, I like looking a certain way, honestly. I mean, I like the way I look in my jeans. So I want to keep doing that. I want to stay healthy. I want to stay, I want to motivate and inspire other people to do the same thing. And so when I'm sitting in my bed, I'm thinking, okay, well, this isn't going to give me energy for today. And this isn't going to make me slip on those jeans as easily. And this isn't gonna, like, I got to practice what I preach. So I just get up and do it.
Right.
But before I used to lay in bed and think about all the excuses why I shouldn't. And now I have a list of excuses of why I should, but I've built that list over multiple times of, I don't know how to say this, but failing myself.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So when you fail yourself or you don't keep a promise to yourself, you have to evaluate why. And then, okay, this is going to come up again because you know, just because it's January 1st doesn't mean that, you know, God's going to come down and clear the path of all
Sprinkled
obstacles.
some
Right.
fairy dust down. Okay,
Like,
you're all ready.
right.
It's January 1st. Get out there.
So all of the things and all of the reasons that you've given yourself excuses in the past of why not to do something or do the action that you've promised to yourself, you got to start coming up with reasons why instead of excuses why not to, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and you know what? I would have beat myself up all day today if I skipped working out.
Mm-hmm.
And before I really, the last couple of weeks is when I started getting into like a 6 day routine of something, of whether it be a walk or a run or going to the gym. Until I got that routine down, I wasn't doing anything. I was doing nothing. So it's real easy to think, well, I mean, you weren't doing this before. Like what's okay, so you do 5 days instead of 6 days. But it's like, no, there's nothing wrong with me. I don't
Mm-hmm.
have, my knee isn't hurting. I don't have a headache. There's nothing wrong with me. I just today, and to be honest, today was the first day that we didn't have Chelsea here, so I didn't have my stepdaughter here. I didn't have to get up to take her to school. So this was the first day that I didn't hit the alarm goes off and I got to hit the road. This was the
Mm-hmm.
first day I had that. So it felt really nice to just like lay in bed. But I could have done that for 15 minutes or 20
Right.
minutes. Why 2 hours? Why did I take 2 hours? So had I just like cut my workout out altogether, the rest of the day I would be thinking about it. You should have just done it. You should have just done it. You should have just done it. So like instead of going, that was my reason because I'm going to beat myself up the rest of the day. So I got up
Right.
and did it.
And it's kind of like um but we also have to learn how to accept our decision that we've made. So if like that's what I did. I laid in bed for 2 hours. It's over. That doesn't mean I'm a bad person. That doesn't mean I'm unmotivated. That doesn't mean my whole week is shot. That doesn't mean anything. It just means that's the action that I didn't take. And my next action is going to be better, or the
Right.
next tomorrow morning is going to be better. If I choose tomorrow morning to stay in bed for 2 hours again, I need to accept that but once you've gone through the process of understanding why you chose, maybe you just needed a break, and that's okay. You got to give yourself grace, but you can't beat yourself up. And it isn't like this action or lack of action now affects every other action moving forward, because it doesn't. Like
Yeah.
you're not 100 pounds back because you were 2 hours in the gym. You
Right.
are going to, you know, gain weight back or whatever it is if you allow that not going to the laying in bed for 2 hours to lead to another day of beating yourself up, and then another day and another day. It's not
Right.
it doesn't really change much.
Right. And it just triggered something in me, and I'm probably going to butcher it when I get to it, but I think you're saying like accept it, right? You do it 2 days in a row. Okay, you have to accept it again, or you have to change it. Either
Right.
accept it or change it. But
Right.
to continually beat yourself up over it, there's two options. Accept that you did it again 2 days in a row, or change it and don't do it again the next time. Which
Right.
leads me to, I don't know if you know, Well, you've had plenty of alcoholics in your life, but um, one of me too. So my ex-husband was an alcoholic, and I used to go to Al-Anon classes and stuff, and they would teach you the Serenity Prayer. And so that reminds me of that, where you accept the things I cannot change. Wait, how does it go? Accept the things I cannot change. I don't know, change the things I can and the wisdom to know the difference. I forget how it goes because it's been like
Mhm.
30 years since I went to one of those damn classes or however long ago, but um and that's just it. Accept it, the things that you can't change the things that you can, and know the difference between the two. Like you can change it. You don't have to, you could either continue to do the same thing over and over or change it and just let it go.
Right.
Like accept it or change it.
And it is your choice.
Right.
Like the motivation isn't the reason that you are not sticking to a plan. It's you're choosing not to do the action to follow through with a plan.
Right.
Has nothing to do with the motivation. Everything is your choice.
Right.
So
Triggered by a feeling,
right,
triggered by a feeling, but that's
right.
the motivation is not the feeling. It's
No,
it's your motivation is being triggered by a feeling.
right. And usually a feeling is starts with a thought. So you're thinking, oh, it's cold outside. And then your feeling is unhappy to go outside. And then your action is you don't go outside. But if your thought is, no matter what the weather is, I'm going to get this done, then you feel empowered and you feel motivated, if you want to call it a feeling, but you feel like you want to take the action. But it all starts with the thoughts that you have while you're laying in bed scrolling through Instagram. And if you're not having thoughts, if you're not identifying your thoughts, that's where you have to start. You got to start listening to yourself. So you have to physically stop yourself and be like, okay, why am I doing this right now? Just why? Am I tired? Do I just need a break, like a mental break? All of that
Right.
stuff is okay. But if you don't know why, then that's where you got to start digging so that you can now say, okay, I'm just tired. I only got 6 hours of sleep last night. How can I fix that? Oh, my bed routine wasn't very good. I ate late at night. I drank too much alcohol. I was on the phone with so and so, whatever it is. But then you can start there to get better sleep. So, but if you don't know your why and you don't kind of do that detective work, then you're never going to come up with a solution or a plan or a reason, a way to like fulfill your reason for doing whatever it is that you're beating yourself up about, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I was thinking like the I wasn't motivated this morning. I did the 15-minute thing though. I was like, okay, I wake up at 5:30. I'm like, it's 5:30, so I'm gonna give myself 15 minutes to get up out of bed. That'll be another 15 minutes for me getting ready, and then I'm out the door by 6. So but over the last, I don't know, couple of months, I stretched that to 2 hours multiple times. But like you said, what I did is I just felt bad about it all day. Because but then I'm like, well, Justy, that was your choice. So
Right.
I have that dialogue in my head constantly, in order to kind of just learn how to not beat myself up, and not blame other things other than me.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm the same way. And I do have the conversations all day. But I mean, and I feel like we talked about this a little bit too. Everything that we've been through in our lives and just speaking health wise, we've
Mm-hmm.
done between the two of us, we've done it all. And part of that was learning to talk nicer to ourselves, learning to give ourselves the grace, and just to allow us to be human sometimes. Like sometimes, right now we're both tracking food because we're working with coaches, and it's like we don't want to. We don't want to, but we committed to it and we're gonna do it. But
Mm-hmm.
but like I said, like this weekend I'm not. It doesn't have anything to do with motivation. It just has to do with me letting go and being in the moment because that's more important to me. It's more important to me to be in the moment with my family and this community that I'm building here as a Girl Scout leader. And I truly do enjoy my time with them, but I want to let go and be in the moment at this camp and just have fun with the girls and see the joy on their face. And I don't want to put myself face down in my phone trying to figure out how many grams of protein were in the chicken and mac and cheese that I have for dinner. And so I'm accepting that. I've already accepted it. I know I'm going to track today until I get there. I know going into it that I'm just not going to do it. And I'm not going to beat myself up over it because I had committed to doing it before. And I let my coach know that I'm just not doing it this weekend.
And I think that's important too, what you just said. So this week, you committed to tracking your food, and the reason you're doing it is because you committed to it, and it has offered us some insight to kind of where we're at and that sort of thing. So your reasoning for that was one thing, but this weekend your reasoning is different. Like your reasoning
Mhm.
can change. So
Right.
depending on what is more important to you right now. So but it's still aligning with what you want most in life. So you're not going to gain weight back because you took a weekend to spend with your stepdaughter and the Girl Scouts, right? So, but that's okay. Like, and that's why but before we wouldn't have thought that was okay. We would have
Right.
been like, oh my God, I fucking can't stick to anything. I'm never going to lose this weight. How am I going to be able to do this? I just give up. But like, we would have just
Right.
like
We
ourselves
would
up.
should all over ourselves.
We
I
would
should
have
have done
all,
this. I should have done that. Yeah.
yeah, we would totally shit all over ourselves. And but you're making a decision because you know your reason why, and you're going to be motivated to act on that or to act on other things that are important to you. And so, if you're not, it's like if you're not acting on a plan that you set for yourself at the beginning of the year or whatever it is, then maybe your plan is too hard,
Right.
and maybe you're setting yourself up for too much. And so I've talked about it forever. It's just small changes. And usually when I think a change isn't enough, it is. So it's because you can only do so much. So when I'm like, you know what? I really should go to the gym 6 days a week, da 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 da. But my goal is going 5. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, that's not enough, but I know that's probably where I should be, right? Because life happens. And if I
Mhm.
say I'm going to go 6 days a week and I only go 5, then I'm going to, I could go into the beating myself up or, feeling like, oh, I can't, accomplish anything. But if I set a reasonable goal, something that I can do, then I'm going to do it. I'm going to feel good about it. So if you're
Right.
not doing your goals that you set tomorrow, or today's actually what, February 2nd. I don't know when this
Yeah.
is airing, but February 2nd today. So if you've had a month of not doing what you said you're going to do, maybe you need to readjust your commitment to yourself or your commitment to whatever it is that you've planned, because it's obviously more than you can do, more than
Yeah.
the reason isn't enough for your
Yeah.
motivation.
And it's for sure okay to pivot because
Yeah.
it's beginning of February and I'm already pivoting my one of my goals a bit because I think I did get a little bit too aggressive. So a couple things. When I signed up for this coaching, I committed to 3 to 4 days a week of some type of activity. And I'm now doing 6. So I undercommitted. And I think that made it easier for me versus saying, I'm going to go 6 days a week to the gym or I'm going to do 6 days of exercise of some sort. I didn't have a set plan. I didn't say 2 days of strength training, 3 days of this and 1 day of that. I didn't do any of that. I just said 3 to 4 days. That's all I can give right now. Well, here I am 6 days, and some days it's walking to the grocery store. That's a half a mile and then a half a mile back. Some days it is we walk to get frozen yogurt, which is across the street from the grocery store. We walk there and walk back. I do 2 days a week of strength training. Um, I did Friday as my run day. I stuck with my run day, but sometimes it's walking, sometimes it's running. There's activity there, but I didn't overcommit. So it made it easier to add things on, to add those layers on. But when we set our goals, I did say, I thought it was cute, the 24 months of running. Well, I have to pivot that because first of all, January, I was still sick going into the beginning of January, from being sick over like the holidays and everything. I'm finally feeling better, but I feel like I think by the end of the year, my average will come out to 24 a month, but I certainly didn't run 24 miles in January. I probably won't run 24 in February. Once the weather's nicer, I'll walk right out this door and run and not have any problems. Um, but I think I'm gonna make it for what's that?
I did. So I did do the 24 miles, but I was just walking. And
Yeah.
it's not walking. It's walking. It's something I
Right.
wasn't doing before. So because I've been doing before my workouts or after my workouts or stretch, I do a mile or so on the treadmill. So I wanted to do it with Sancho, but it's just it rains every day in Charlotte. So
Right.
he is a princess, so he's not going outside in the rain.
Right. You need to get him a little raincoat and booties.
Right. Oh, I tried putting booties on it once and it was hilarious. But
Yeah.
so I did do that and I feel better doing that. So that's good.
Well, my pivot is it's going to be in the colder months like this when I just don't have it in me to walk out the door and run. It's going to be run or walk because
Yeah.
I don't mind walking. Like I take Chelsea to the playground. It's 40 degrees and she's fine with playing, and I just bundle up and I walk laps around it. But I just something about running in that and when it's that cold, I'll do it if I have to. Like if I've signed up for a race and it's cold and I've done it before, but it's miserable. So I don't
Yeah.
want to make my daily, weekly movement miserable. I'll do it
Miserable.
when I paid for the race, but
Mhm.
not for like an everyday. I'm just not feeling it. And I know that about myself. And I discovered that about myself in the first month of the year. So I'm pivoting that goal. 24 miles of running or walking when it's cold and like this, like in these colder months. And I know that it'll be 24 when it gets warmer. And I have a feeling by the end of the year, it'll be enough to average out to 24 months. So that's kind of where I'm going with it. But and it's okay to pivot. It is okay.
Well, and it's interesting because you'd said like the word miserable. And when I think about that, I think about the beginning of my weight loss journey. And I felt like I had to feel like it was miserable in order for it to be working.
Mm,
And it was kind of like, well, this, it had to be hard. It had to be miserable. I had to be starving. I had to be exhausted. I had to have sore muscles. Like I had to like but it's like punishing myself. And now I
right.
can't the last time I was like, oh my God, that was miserable.
Right.
I just do things that are enjoyable to me. And I do things that um, I know I'm going to do. Like I live my life the way that I want to live my life. And that's a healthy way. It shouldn't be miserable. Like it's easy. It's easy if you're doing it in a slow, moderate way. It's
Intentional as well. Yeah.
and and it's like when you say, oh, I can't eat this, I can't do that, I have to do this, I have to do that, that just becomes miserable. Like
It's too restrictive. Yeah.
yeah, I eat sugar every day, I have bakeries. I eat a macaroon every day. That's okay. It doesn't mean I'm not going to stay in maintenance. It
And
means
say
that
like, oh, I ate that macaroon. I better just go eat pizza and have a bowl of ice cream when I'm done with it and fuck
yeah,
the workout because I blew it. That's how it
right.
used to be.
Right, that's how we used to be. Or I can never walk into one of my bakeries and eat anything ever.
Right.
It's like, what the fuck is that?
Right.
Now
You
that I
tell
feel,
me how it tastes. What do you think? Like, well,
yeah,
how does that work? Because I used to say that though. I used to say like one of my excuses, and I know you can appreciate this because you've done just as many line checks as I
oh
have. But I was
yeah,
like, man, I have to do line check every day. So I have to taste the coconut shrimp. I have to taste the egg roll. I've got to taste all the sauces. No,
right.
line check alone is probably 500 calories.
I have to make a creme brulee. We have to warm up a crab cake. Like,
But you don't
yeah,
have to eat the whole creme brulee.
no, no,
But I probably did.
sure. Um, yeah, so it's just interesting how we just wrap this feeling into motivation. And um, so I think there's a couple of things, a couple of takeaways, and I might miss one is motivation's not a feeling.
Not at
Um,
all.
you have to have a reason why, a reason for an action. If you're feeling like your action to do it is is miserable, then your reason is too hard. Like it's just too much. Your plan, your whatever, you got to bring it back, and that's okay to bring it back. It's kind of like, what can I do instead of what I think I should do, if that makes sense. Like
Mhm.
I should, but what am I actually going to do? And just
And who's
really,
telling you you should do that?
right, like
Is
be
your
honest.
doctor saying you, so here's what you should do? Because if my doctor is telling
Oh,
me, I might consider it. But if it's just somebody on Instagram or Facebook or my mother's, cousin, no, no.
right, right. And it's funny because I've been around a lot of people lately, and I have to bite my tongue a little bit because it's not my place. But just even people within the bakeries or the support team or what have you, this beginning of the year, like, oh no, I can't taste bread today because I'm not eating carbs. And it's like, okay, but like, did your doctor tell you? Like, where did you come up with that? You know what I mean? And it's kind of like not eating carbs versus I'm limiting, or I'm going to be specific about the carbs I am eating, those lead to very different feelings, those
Yeah,
thoughts. And so it's kind of like, it's just interesting how, oh, no. But you know
I
what? I
can't.
guarantee the person that said, oh, I can't eat carbs, they're going to go face down in a fucking loaf of bread very soon. You know what I
I
mean?
know people like that. I do. I
Mm-hmm.
know people like that that'll eat a dozen donuts after they've just said they can't eat carbs. And it's like, what?
Right. But if you just,
What just happened?
right. And we used to be that person.
Hmm.
So but again, it's not like we went from, I don't eat a lot of carbs naturally in my diet. It's just what I just don't do. I just don't like it, I guess. I mean, I do like potatoes. But
I'm
it,
choosy about my carbs is all.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I enjoy pizza sometimes, and that's okay. Like, who cares? But I didn't go from being able to enjoy a slice of pizza overnight. Like, I used to be like, oh, if there's a pizza, I'm gonna eat it, right? I used to not even think about it and just eat it. And then I went to like, whew, I'm gonna eat it if it's here, to figuring out how I can just eat one piece and put the rest in the refrigerator and have another piece tomorrow. And it's okay. Like,
Hmm.
I'm not gonna like die because there's a
Right.
piece. And so, but it didn't happen overnight. And you just have to constantly readjust and reevaluate what is most important to you, and like, what are you willing to do to accomplish that. And that changes every day,
Yeah.
and that's okay because
Yeah.
you're about it, you're making a decision, and then forward, and then it's okay. Like, nobody's keeping track.
Right. Except for you.
Right. And if those actions are leading to weight gain, then you need to modify your actions. If what you want is weight loss,
Right.
if those actions are leading to maintenance and that's what you want, cool. You don't have, it's like, it's funny being in maintenance. It's like, I feel like almost sometimes like afraid or panic because it's like, oh, I have to. And I'm like, wait, no, I don't have to. I'm in maintenance. Like, I'm not, I'm not in this like state of wanting to lose weight. And so I can eat what I want to eat because I'm not needing to be in a deficit, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not gaining or losing any weight. So I'm in maintenance. So I don't need to change anything.
Right.
But in my mind, I'm like, oh, I should do better. But I'm in maintenance. I don't need to do anything because I'm not gaining or losing weight.
Right.
So what I'm supposed to be doing.
It's such a bizarre place to be, man.
Right. Right. So
Well,
anyway, we
yeah.
talked about we talked about in our goals that we were going to do some self-care, self-love, and just kind of discuss briefly what we did. So what did you do for January?
So, I did finally break down and well, I've been doing my own pedicures, but I had bought red nail polish, like a really pretty red color that I liked,
Uh-huh.
that I intended to use for Christmas until I turned up sick for weeks. So I never used it. So I finally did and used that. So I took the time. I just blocked a section of time out when nobody's home. It's just me, put some music on and just like did my thing. So I did that. And then I also it was a night when Isaac was working. It was just me and Chelsea, and we like to have our girls' night. And so we did face masks, and I let her choose which one she wanted to do. She chose the clay one. So we rubbed, the clay all over our faces, and we got I have the like poofy band that you put on to hold your hair back. So we like washed our faces first, and we put the mask on, and then I treated her to a manicure. So I manicured her nails and I painted them, and she chose her color. So it was just kind of like, we haven't done that in a while. So it was fun to just have that like girls' night, just the two of us, and like sit with our masks on and laugh at how funny we look and stuff like that. So those were my two things that I did this month.
Well, that's good. I just had a really busy month. But I did get a facial the other day, and they had like an open house thing, and so I got like this little gift bag, and it had a shower bomb in it, which I've never had a shower
Never heard of
bomb.
that. No.
It's like when the water hits it, it like releases off this aroma, and it's good for like 4 or 5 showers, and it smells amazing.
Where do you
It's
put it?
You just put it in the shower. Like I have it on my little ledge shelf thing, and you just splash some water on it, and then it
Okay.
like this aroma. And it just smells so good. Like I just really like it. So that's one thing that I did do. And then actually this weekend I'm taking off of work. I'm gonna shut my phone off. I'm going to just take a weekend off, and hopefully, and I'm gonna take myself on a date on Sunday. So I'm gonna do my hair, do my makeup, put a cute outfit on. I'm gonna take myself to brunch. There's a place I've been wanting to try. I'm gonna take myself to brunch. I'm gonna maybe do a little bit of shopping without spending too much money, but I have a couple of things I want to get. Um, and then I'm probably gonna come home, and if the weather's nice, Sanch and I are gonna go on a little walk, like a longer walk. And then I'm gonna binge watch the rest of This Is Us at night. I'm gonna shower and get in my jammies probably at 6 o'clock and not give a fuck.
Right. That sounds amazing.
I'm gonna put a fire in my fireplace.
Oh, that's right. You have a fireplace. I forgot. I wish I had
Yeah.
a fireplace.
Yeah. And when Steady Eddie came up the last time, he brought me a case of like firewood,
Mm.
like starter things. So it's super easy. It lasts like 3 hours, and you just light the paper and then it crackles even. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw one of those in there um and do that. So yeah.
Yeah. That sounds
Um,
good.
but anyway, so also what's next?
We're prepared for at least one thing anyway.
Yeah.
So what's next is we're going to talk about meal prep and what we've learned about it, kind of how we do things, because Jussie and I are very different
Mhm.
sometimes when it comes to that, and we've tried it all, literally tried it all. Sometimes we meal prep, sometimes we just mind meal prep. So
Right.
we'll talk a little bit about that, and then beyond that, I'm not 100% sure because the one guest that I wanted to have on has been going through some stuff, so I want her to be feel better before we bring her on, and then outside of that, I don't know,
So
but
yeah,
I do
it'll
have one.
something will pop up. I know
Yeah.
that I could talk about a little bit. I know I want to talk about overeating, like eating past enough at some point, and kind of how I've learned to kind of do that, how we've learned to stop before we've had too much. And then also, I think it would be fun to, not fun, but I think it would be a good idea. And I don't know if Steph had suffered or done this too much, but I am like a binge eater. When I was kind of in my weight gain and overweightness, I kind of would binge eat quite a bit. And I feel like we should talk about that too at some point.
Yeah. Um, and that just made me think of something too. Oh boy, did I lose it that fast? I had an idea.
Happen. I'm telling you, the last couple months, I can't remember.
It was a really good one too. Oh, I know what it is. Jesus Christ. Anyway, um, I think by the time this would air or we would get to it, I think we should talk about tracking versus non-tracking and the pluses and minuses of both of them now that we're kind of thrown into it and we're discovering things about it. I
Mm-hmm.
told you it was a good one. I just lost it for
Yeah.
a minute.
Yeah.
Um, but I think we should talk about that because I think everybody is a little feels a little different about it. And some people are religious with it, and some people are like, hell no. And then there's us that's like kind of somewhere in the middle. And so yeah, so I think we should talk about that too.
Yep. I think so too. So anyway, all right. Well, that's
Okay.
it for motivation.
Yep. All right. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.